When it comes to paraplegics and wheelchair users in general, the be-all and end-all of rehabilitation is regarded as walking. Personally, I think there are far more important goals, and we need to think in terms of quality of life, comfortable living, and the ability to simply be, without constant effort required just to sit and hold your head high. But considering that the use of the legs is where the focus tends to lie, then let us start there. I have some use of the legs, but from the knee down they are still totally paralysed. That is not to say that we haven't improved the quality of the knees, ankles and lower legs in general. The shape of the foot has changed enormously. When I started the therapy work they were flat, now they have a good arch to them. The joints were slack and the toes floppy. Now all the joints have a quality and firmness to them. The tone of the skin is improved and it has a healthy colour to it. My lower legs were once such skin and bone that there was a sore red line where the skin stretched over the ridge at the front of the tibia. The calf muscle had wasted into obscurity, but now has a small but significant volume. All these improvements have been achieved without any use of the legs below the knee. Above the knee I have gained considerable control of the legs, together with considerable muscle bulk. It is scary to think back to how thin they once were. The quality of the knees has greatly increased, with the slackness of the joints somewhat disappeared. Although I have worked directly on the legs, particularly the knees and the ankles, it must be appreciated that these improvements are largely as a consequence of improved capacity in the core structure of my body. The ability to move my legs is dependent upon a good solid foundation in the trunk, and to have regained this stability is tremendous. My pelvis has expanded enormously lately, giving much better connection of the legs and much better control over movements. Where before my pelvis was tilted back and I sat on the bony points of the ischium, now I sit up on the platform of my sitting bones. My abdomen has volume, density and pressure to it once again, and this has lifted the top half of my body off of the pelvis, creating space at the waist. My chest has the last remnants of the hinge in it, with the bottom ribs still splayed out a little. But as the spine strengthens and the connection of the ribs improves, its barrel shape has nearly returned. I am still lacking volume to the back, and this remains the primary weakness, but nothing like it was, and there is substantial depth to my body. My head and neck are stronger and sit comfortably on my shoulders, rather than taking constant effort to hold my head high. There are still weaknesses inherent in my core structure, but they are diminishing, and the musculoskeletal structure is nowhere near as deformed as it once was. I'll now show you some of the ability I have regained and the movements I can perform.